For Resident Evil HD Remaster, Chris Real Survival Mode, no damage.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone, situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we are searching for the helicopter of our compatriots, Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of their mission.
Found it yet?
No, not yet. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. The Bravo Team was sent in to investigate, but we lost contact.
Look, Chris.
Bravo Team's helicopter was a derelict. Save for the remaining body of Kevin. We continued our search for the other members, and it turned into a nightmare. This way. Damn it! Make for that mansion! There are only 3 STARS members left now. Captain Wesker, Jill, and myself. We don't know where Barry is.
Is everyone all right?
Barry. Where's Barry?
He's...
No. What was that?
I'll go and check it out.
All right. Jill and I will stay and secure this area.
Chris? Take care.
Yeah.
So first things first, I ran this with the door skip mod because I figured that people would not be wanting to watch doors and whatnot. One of the great things about the PC version. And heading back to the main hall.
Wesker? Jill? Where did they go?
Oh wow, looks like there's something engraved on the top of the gun. I actually did not notice that before. But anyway. Leading up to the dogs are the first major problem area in a no damage run. We actually have to go out of our way to grab a weapon that will actually inflict hit stun on the dogs. First things first. Check that zombie, make sure he's dead. And he's dead. Equipping the knife allows you to run faster than normal. And in case you can't tell, I'm using a mixture of the alternate and standard tank controls. Simply flipping the control options to alternate will let you use tank controls on D-pad and alt controls on the stick, just like with Resident Evil Outbreak. I only shot one zombie, grabbed the ammo, and went back the way I came so that I wouldn't have to shoot anymore. But also so I could save ammo for these guys. Although really, this guy... This is probably the only area in the run where it's okay to just straight up shoot zombies. Probably due to the way the event data is handled in this room, because a boss spawns here later, the Elder Crimson Head. You don't actually have to worry about these zombies getting up and coming back as Crimson Heads. So instead we're just going to go ahead and wipe them out and grab the shotgun shells here. That way we have plenty of ammo with which to kneecap zombies and also take out the dogs. The dogs are literally the worst enemies in the game because they take no hit stun except on attacks. But leading up to the dogs, first thing we're going to do is grab the shotgun. The shotgun is the only thing that will actually cause enough hit stun to keep you safe while going for the one key item that actually forces you to kill dogs. Not getting the shotgun first means that you will only have the handgun and daggers in your inventory. Still extremely risky. Before we go to the east side of the mansion, going ahead and going through the west side of the mansion in order to get the broken shotgun from the one room. Using the alt controls in real survival mode actually helps out a lot. The knife is also very useful for checking to make sure that zombies are dead without expending any extra ammo, especially with the awkward camera angle on that one. How do I grab the key? But we need the old key here in order to open the room with the broken shotgun, which is why we make a special detour over here. Gonna take a line around here to lure the zombie that just came out the door, and the other zombie is going to angle himself toward the table to try and turn towards me. Basically make the zombie waste actions in exactly the wrong direction so that I can move the other way and he doesn't bite my ankle. The zombie there is going to come back as a Crimson Head later, which means we need to take extra special care coming back through this area. Also going ahead and using the mansion key there, just unlocking all the mansion key, or all the sword key doors, so that we can go ahead and discard it without going into the save room. This is a bit of a tough dodge, but this is exactly why we pick up defense items. One thing that I should note, earlier, when I picked up the dagger and I left immediately. That's because if you backtrack through that same hallway, coming out the other door, then dogs will bust through the window. We don't want that. The flash grenades are indispensable as Chris. Flash grenade can kill Elder Crimson Head in one shot, if you are lucky/unlucky enough to get grabbed by Elder Crimson Head. But of course, the safest way would always be to shoot Elder Crimson Head. Still trying to conserve defense items, but the dagger is there in case we mess up. Now that we have the broken shotgun, we can head back through this area. Just don't go back through this hallway the way we're going. It's also better to get this whole area done on the first pass, because coming back through this area, we'll wind up having to deal with like 4 zombies. Totally not worth it to go back through this area ever again. For Chris, draining that tub is mandatory because Chris needs the small key in the tub, but it's not mandatory for Jill. Jill gets a dagger instead, which is still very useful. Speaking of which, the Jill version of this video is also on my YouTube. The shotgun has a 6 in 10 chance of decapitation, actually 3 out of 5 chance of decapitation, which is pretty low. Getting the assault shotgun later on from Richard increases it to a 7 out of 10. That zombie is pretty easy to dodge, just murk the corner until he tries to lunge into the corner. That zombie is not too bad either, just kind of run a sort of half circle around him. The straighter the line towards the door, the better if you can, because sometimes he'll intercept you, grab you in the back. There I got a little unlucky, excuse me. But In general, the best policy to take when running through real survival mode is to be very, very careful with your routing and make sure that you're not going through certain areas more than once, because certain areas will populate with more enemies, get a lot more dangerous. And over here we're going to use our first major trick, pump canceling. Oh man, I almost bungled it here. Defense items let you get out of a grab without taking any damage whatsoever. Getting knocked down by that dog, even if you don't have a defense item, would not cause any damage whatsoever. As long as you shake out of it fast enough. Going back this way. The safest way to get out of this area would be to take the door that we first entered this hallway through. Going into the room with the crows. Nothing to this puzzle. No explanation whatsoever. But yeah, the hallway outside is generally called the murder hall because there's 3 really, really tough zombie dodges that you have to be able to get through in a speedrun. And more often than not, runs just go to die there. So naturally, in a run through where consistency is the 100% main objective, especially consistency in not taking damage, we're just going to take the scenic route in order to avoid those zombies.
You.
Chris Redfield, Alpha Team. We're here to rescue you. Richard, what the hell happened to you? Chris, this place... Get your team out of here. Demons everywhere.
Don't talk. He seems to have been bitten by a poisonous snake, but the size of the bite mark is huge.
It's not just any ordinary snake. Take my word for it.
He needs serum. I left it in another room.
I'll go get it.
Please hurry.
Hold on. I'll be back.
So, saving Richard, it all has to be done within 4 minutes. That zombie over there, by the way, you probably noticed that he shifted positions. He does that if you grab the broken shotgun and the grenade in the same room. Actually, it happens if you just straight up unlock that door. That zombie just shifts positions toward where you need to go, so you need to take the long way around to get around him. Upon getting the armor key, that zombie busts through the door over there. Don't need to visit the item box quite yet. In real survival mode, since I have not mentioned it yet, all the item boxes are shut off, rather that is they're unlinked. Auto aim is shut off, and it is the hard mode item layout. So that kind of makes it basically the hardest mode in the game, barring invisible enemy mode. Which, unless you were trying for a challenge run in invisible enemy mode, would border on bullshit difficulty. But I'll do invisible enemy mode, no damage, at one point or another. We want to grab the old key here so that we can get the Magnum for Plant 42. Magnum, out of all of Chris's weapons, does the most DPS to Plant 42. Also, that dodge is the most consistent way to get that key. Hold back and right, and then just simply circle around him. Now the reason I go this way is because I can do this all quickly enough and still save Richard, but you have to do it all in 4 minutes. So if you feel uncomfortable doing this, I would recommend just getting the serum and going back the way you came. That's the fastest way to get back to Richard, and then just doing all the stuff that I did after you get teleported back to the save room, which is about to happen again.
Hope this is what you wanted.
Thank you. I'm gonna give you a shot now, Richard. Hang in there.
Here. Take it. It's a radio. Take care of yourself, Rebecca. Richard.
He's okay. He's just unconscious.
Rebecca, it's not safe here. Let's get Richard to a safer place.
Right. Richard's doing well, Chris. He should recover soon.
Good. Richard needs you now.
As soon as Richard gets better, we'll come after you.
Rebecca, you okay with a gun?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to continue my investigation.
Be careful. Okay?
But the dodge, in order to go back towards the attic area, is like so. Of course, I sacrificed my grenade there. I would have actually liked to use a dagger instead of a flash grenade, because daggers decapitate, and there are plenty of zombies that I would have rather used the grenade on than that one, but kind of slipped my mind to equip the daggers as my primary defense item. The easiest way to get around this zombie here is to stay on the stairs. I thought I'd try to go for a decap. But because this zombie does follow you into this room over here. But of course, decap roll didn't work out, so gonna use a dagger on this one and check the position of the other zombie as we're headed out the door. And he went to the right, so just circle around the other side of the table and leave. He'll either go right or left, and knowing what direction the zombie is going to go, what direction the zombie could go, rather, before you move, is pretty important toward being able to conserve ammo. Conserve resources, rather. It's It's actually really surprising that that zombie has not come back as a Crimson Head yet. It's actually been almost a year since I've done this video. I recorded it a while back, but I never uploaded the run until now.
It's me, Chris.
Rebecca.
That sounded like Moonlight Sonata.
Can you play? What was that?
My interpretation is off a little. Let me practice for a while.
Sure. But don't get too carried away.
Oh, I won't.
In order for Rebecca to be done playing the piano, we have to head back to the main hall. Try to spend as little time in that hallway as possible, otherwise one of the zombies from the F-shaped hallway will migrate in. But we have to go out the main hall and back in this way. Still no Crimson Head yet, surprisingly enough. Probably has to do with where I downed the zombie.
Chris! Chris! I think I got it!
Practice makes perfect.
What's this?
So, leading up to Yawn, the puzzle here is quite simple. The picture has the solution. The shorter sword goes through the breastplate, and the longer sword goes through the head. Sucks to be that guy, though. Getting a sword run through his head. Getting around Yawn. Chris actually spawns in a pretty good position. All you have to do is hold up and left on the analog stick to grab the death mask, and then circle around the support beam, because the support beam, Yawn obviously can't attack through it. It'll force Yawn to go around. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Yawn has actually got some pretty bullshit moves sometimes. With that camera angle there, I did a spot check to see if the zombie was going to be facing left or right whenever I got around the corner. And because he was facing the right side of the screen, I was able to just squeeze around the corner really tight. Saved a defense item there. Actually, I was all out of defense items. Damn. I would have most certainly lost the run if I'd gotten grabbed by that zombie. Still need shotgun shells for the Elder Crimson Head, though. To get around that zombie, just, all you have to do is just sort of twinge left while running forward. No big deal. Try to go back through the door as quickly as possible so the other zombie doesn't grab. Kind of a ballsy maneuver, given that I don't have any defense items. But I also did it to free up my inventory, so I could go do this puzzle next. The objective is not speed, but sometimes I like to do things quickly, just for the sake of getting to the next area. It's just what I'm wired to do, sorry. Also easier to get out of this room with that bee there, because it takes a long time before that bee can actually attack. Chris just throws him on the ground. And then going into that room, we get the last old key that we need in order to be able to go through the cage. Wait for that zombie to move left a little bit. And then we're good to go. We need about 4 shotgun shells to deal with Elder Crimson Head. This puzzle's pretty straightforward. Just get the pictures to match the accessories in that picture over there. But in general, Elder Crimson Head should not take any more than 5 shotgun shells. With the unluckiest RNG. He generally takes hit stun from the shotgun most of the time. But if he doesn't, you can pump cancel, get the hell out of the way. Pump canceling, by the way, is when you resume movement as quickly as you can after a shot, it cancels the pumping animation. The game treats the shotgun as if it were already cocked, but as long as you release R1, or release the aim button, then you can resume movement fast. Case in point, you can see he's not cocking his shotgun, except that time where I held the button down. And of course that was at my unluckiest, but it's all good. We got the kill. Still doing pretty good on not taking damage. But of course, in order to make sure that we pass through later areas of the game leading up to the assault shotgun unscathed, we have to get more shotgun shells. And the easiest way to do that is the statue we pushed earlier. That zombie is still not a Crimson Head? How did that happen? Oh well, it wouldn't have mattered. Even if he was a Crimson Head coming back into the room, he would have been fully active anyway and would have been on the other side of the hallway, so I could have still run to the door. Because any going down that hallway is not a problem. You won't have to go into the kitchen, down those stairs. So that Crimson Head would be completely 100% harmless. So with that, we're ready to get out of the mansion. But aside from using the shotgun against zombies like this one, which are just going to be directly in the way once, but still a threat because of tight quarters, we need to use the shotgun on some crows in order to be able to solve the puzzle to get the Magnum. The red rooster points west.
One, respond. Wesker? Monster chains. Tree. Not exist. Wait, what's outside the man?
That foreshadowing though. And the blue rooster should be pointing north. Them cacks ain't loyal. So for these crows over here, I kind of messed up, so I reset the room. And aim up the second I see a crow at the top of the screen. I just shoot again. Man, that's a lot of feathers.